Welcome everybody to the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card. So today's pick a card is going to be a bit of fun, I think. We're going to have a bit of a debate between what I would call your inner feline and your inner canine. And that's in honour of the fact that I just received, having backed on Kickstarter, the beautiful fantasy canine deck by Christopher Lee. Now, I interviewed Christopher around the time that this Kickstarter was running, so if you're curious about his work, you can see that in my deck creator interview playlist. What I did say is he had formerly made a beautiful deck called the Fantasy Feline deck, and I did sometime around then did a pick a card using the Fantasy Feline deck, which I had. And I said, when I get the Fantasy Canine one, we're going to have a bit of a debate between the two, because if we think about dogs and cats, if we think about the energy with it, your inner feline is kind of your inner strategic, independent, self-actualized, self-assured kind of energy, strategic energy. And your inner canine would probably be your loyal, compassionate, family or sort of relationship-oriented, protective energy. And so they're both valid. We all have both of those sort of energies in us. And whether you're a dog person or a cat person or you like both equally, what I thought would be interesting is to pit those two sides of yourself in a debate, either around a situation, if that's what it looks like the theme is going to be, or just around your approach to life. So we're going to be using tarot and also other oracles to look at the two perspectives across a number of lenses, just to see what they have to say to you and what they bring to you. So hopefully it's just going to be a lot of fun. Think of it almost like two barristers in a courtroom. I may well almost talk about it in that sort of way in terms of what we're talking about. So because I used the Fantasy Feline deck one time before, so I would have used it for the choice, I decided to tilt towards the Fantasy Canine for the choice. But everything is fair and even in this, because there will be one other Fantasy Canine card underneath here, and then also two from the Fantasy Feline. So we'll get a couple of perspectives from both sides, and then we'll look at, as we go through, how those balance out. So everything's going to be fair. It'll be up to you whether you agree in the end with your inner feline, your inner canine, or a bit of both. So I hope it's fun. If to help with the choice, I did shuffle and ask Spirit with the Fantasy Canine deck for the first major arcana that would come out to be the choice, so part of the storyline for the Fantasy Canine side of it. So for pile number 1, we have the Lovers. For pile number 2, we have the Hermit. And for pile number 3, we have the Fool. Of course, you can go to more than one if you like. You may find that your inner canine and feline have different views on different things, and it's worth going to more than one. That's totally up to you. But when you know what reading or readings you want to go to, I have the timestamps in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome, pile 1, to your reading. So here we have the Fantasy Canine, so the canine view from within about this situation. Here we have the Fantasy Feline, so the cat's eye view, and here we have a kind of a human distillation of the energy that we're talking about, that they might be talking about. We also have some heart code oracle cards over here, a couple, one for each side around a number of lenses, which we will look at a bit later. This is interesting. Like this is perfect, actually, the cards that came out here to really demonstrate what you'd almost think is the natural difference between the two. When we're looking at a blessing in disguise, this is something I would say that is, it could be a relationship. I think for many of you it is about a relationship, whether it's a love relationship or what type of relationship is the thing to work out. Blessing in disguise suggests that maybe it came from something that was difficult, or came in a way that you didn't expect it, which is maybe more to the point, looking at what the different perspectives of the dog and the cat energy here is. But it certainly suggests that there's something a bit surprising, something that came out of something challenging that will, I think, bring about a decision about a type of relationship. So I think that's what this is about. If that doesn't relate to something in your life, maybe choose another reading. We will be looking across all sorts of aspects in your life, particularly with the heart code oracles and so forth. But this has a feeling of relationship or choice of relationship, partly because you did come to the Lovers card, and you may kind of expected that. That might have been the reason that you came. But beyond that, it's also that here we have a sense to say this is so So sort of like the typical dog sort of energy, that the great love, the great connection and the enthusiasm, the Ace of Wands. You can almost sort of see the puppy jumping up and down in excitement when you come home, like from a hard day's work. There's that energy of just really excited, really open to what's new, really passionate about it. Oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. Sort of what you kind of almost hear the canine saying. So there's that kind of energy around this. It's adorable. So I feel as though some sort of situation, whether it's career, friendships or whatever, has brought about an excitement about something very new. Now, I would guess this is about whether or not something is going to be a love relationship, like a romantic one, or just a friendship. And it could kind of go either way, but it could also be connecting with a friend to do something and being really excited about that. But it's definitely got to do with someone else, and it's come out of something that was unexpected. So the inner canine wants to go, this is wonderful, love this person, love the opportunity, think of all that we could create, this is great, really, really enthusiastic. The cat's going, I really enjoy the communication with the Page of Swords, this is good, we seem to be aligned, I like the way they think, but I'm not sure, we could build something together with the Three of Pentacles, definitely, but, I'm not going to rush into anything other than a friendship. So I sort of feel like, let's see what we can build, let's see how we communicate. So again, the sort of cat thing, like, that's fine, I'm happy to play, but let's see how this plays out, because, it's come through something a bit unusual. It's come through some sort of thing, blessing in disguise. So your inner canine that is like really happy to relate and connect and be excited about doing things, yeah, it's definitely a blessing in disguise. Whereas the inner feline's going, yeah, okay, I can see it. I will concede that it could be that, but I really want to find out a little bit more about it. So as I say, it feels very much like you would expect. The side of you that goes, so what's the strategy around this? What's the angle? How's this going to impact my independence? Am I going to feel happy to play? Are we going to be able to build something? And the inner canine's going, yeah, let's just go for it. So we've got quite a different perspective on something, some blessing in disguise, some new adventure, some new relationship, and it's definitely connecting with other people. So let's have a look, firstly, with the inner, we'll actually have a look at the inner canine first, just a little bit more about what they think about this, just get a little bit more of a sense of what it is, and then we'll get from the response from the inner feline, or we'll get what they think, and then we'll get how they respond to each other, like what they would say to each other. So just imagine you are in a court, and the first barrister, which is the barrister for the canine view of this, is getting up to say what they think about what this blessing in disguise is. 7 of Cups, 6 of Cups, 5 of Cups. There's actually quite a lot of cups associated with this. The Empress reversed. The Moon. Wow, okay. So I think this is telling us something about why it was a blessing in disguise. I feel like there is some energy where something would have been nurturing, but it wasn't, or would have been abundant, but it wasn't, because something was hidden, something was not known. And there was some disappointment as a result of that. So something didn't work. Something that could have been caring, nurturing, and so forth had a kind of a hidden whiplash to it. The inner canine saying, like, yeah, we suffered a little bit of a loss here. That's an issue, and I recognise that. But the real core of what I wanted to do here, the real core of what I've always wanted to do, or the type of relationships I've always wanted to have, is still there. And in fact, what I think has come to light is that there's much more opportunity around this than I thought. So say it was a relationship. Well, there was a potential relationship. What I would feel almost is that it didn't work out, but you met a friend of the person, and in fact, that has so much more potential to it. But it's very new. It's just like, yeah, I believe that we can do this. This is actually more what I wanted, and that's okay. It was a blessing in disguise. I met someone, it wasn't the right person, but through them I met someone else. If it's around a career or something like that, similar thing. Something didn't quite take, that's okay, but you know what? I can really still see how I could get where I wanted to go. So I'm going to keep going forward. I'm going to be really enthusiastic, and I'm going to connect to the right people. So the viewpoint here is that everything that was a tricky energy that didn't come to something did bring something up that needed to come up, and knowing that opens up the doorway to a much better direction. So as I say, it feels like your inner canine's really open to this and open to the connections. So what does the inner feline have to say about that? What they think about the situation? We have Strength reversed, King of Cups reversed, the Hangman reversed, Death, Judgment. Okay, all right. So the inner feline is saying that their viewpoint on this is that there's some healing that needs to happen. This did take a bit out of them. Like, it's like, I'm not sure, I've got a little bit wary, the disappointment energy, whatever it was, that the blessing in disguise, whatever the disguise was, we need to heal a bit from that. Certainly open to looking differently at the situation. But it's a choice about whether or not to go forward with this. And like, it's interesting. I actually don't think whatever this is, your inner canine that's very enthusiastic about making the connections and moving forward, and your inner feline is not really disagreeing that much. They're just saying that one needs to like slow down a bit and consider what the option really is before you jump into it. But there is a sense about that this is a blessing. Like, they both agree this is actually something good. But knowing fully what it is, like, it interests me to get Death and Judgment together there, because to me there's three key choice cards, I believe, in the major arcana. One is the Lovers, which you came in on, which is particularly around relationship choices, which is what makes me think this is a choice about who to connect with, whether it's in love or in something else. The other two are Death and Judgment, and the way I often talk about them, that I originally learned and has really worked strongly for me in readings, is that the Death card there's something external that's happened or is happening. It can be looked upon as good, bad, or indifferent. In this case, it probably was looked as a bit of a challenge, but nevertheless has a real opportunity in it. A decision is necessary, but there's time. Judgment is more like there isn't much time, actually, because it's like you hear the call and you respond to it or not. So I think that your inner feline wants to like think differently and wants to just pause slightly on this before moving forward, but kind of agrees that overall this seems to have been meant to happen, and that it's a positive thing. It's just, let's just slow down a bit and make sure we know what it's going to be. And as I say, a classic energy for this would be, somebody who you've met through somebody, and it's like, is this going to be a lover or is this going to be a friend? And it's going to be important either way. Both are agreeing on that. But it's like there's some healing to do from something before you make a rational decision. And I feel that's what the inner feline is saying. So in response to that, we'll get three cards for what is the inner canine. He's now listened to what Learner Council on the feline side has said, which is, okay. But we do need to heal, and we just need to slow down a bit before we make big decisions. So the inner canine answer to that is Strength reversed. I agree that this has knocked us around a bit. I agree on that. Queen of Swords. But I think you're living a bit too much in your head, Learner Council. I think it's a little bit too, let's look at the heart as well. Chariot reversed, because I don't know that we need to slow down as much as you're saying. But I'll accept a little bit of slowing down. I'll accept you could have a point, but I think this is far more rational than you're giving it credit for, and I really do want to engage the heart. So then, what does the inner feline say to that? The Sun. Learning Council has a good point. I think we're heading in the same direction. I don't think we're really disagreeing that much. 10 of Cups reversed. But I know what can go wrong when one rushes into something. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Knight of Cups, perfectly open to seeing what this could be. I am not saying that it couldn't be love, couldn't be the perfect job, whatever it is. I think there is a lot of potential here, but we got some pain to deal with. We need to be really clear. We need to put some sunlight on it. But I actually don't think whatever this is, both sides, the side that really wants to protect you and have relationship and connection, and the side that wants to make sure that you're strong, independent, and able to make really strategic decisions, don't actually have a lot to sort of argue with here. It's just a bit about timing, I think. So let's see how they view it across different things. So let's see around relationship energy. So your inner canine energy around whatever this situation is feels listen, like, yeah, just listen, hear what the opportunities are. I want to connect. Like you can almost see it there, listening in, like kind of getting close. So the inner canine energy of you wants to hear what the other party has to say, what this is or could be around relationships, wants to connect like that. The inner feline says, twin flame, this could be pretty significant. That's why you've got to take a little bit of time. So they're not really disagreeing. And if it isn't around love per se with twin flame, it could be, like a similar sort of thing around career or whatever. There is a lot of prospects here that there's something karmic or, like the inner feline's not disagreeing. It's not disagreeing. But I think that the difference here is that the inner feline wants to make the decision about how important this is, whereas the inner canine just wants to connect and hear. So it's sort of like the inner canine's being a little bit more other person centered. What about career? If it was actually impacting career or monetary sort of things, the inner canine says disapproval. Okay. This might have come out of some form of disapproval, or it might be that there's something about a relationship, if it's that it seems so different that it may not fit with career. Nevertheless, I think the inner canine wants to go after it, but understands that issue. The inner feline says boundaries. It says that's okay. Like we just have to have some boundaries around this. For some, this could be, you went into a job, it wasn't everything you wanted, but you found the potential great love of your life. Or there's sort of something like very material that didn't work out, but like learning from that around boundaries and what didn't work is the thing that actually makes it possible to move forward. So again, like it's sort of, this is very relationship oriented. I want to make sure what I do is approved of. The inner feline goes, I don't care about that. I just want the right boundaries. So that's the different sides of the situation. What about lifestyle, how this impacts the lifestyle? So the inner canine says, warning. Okay, now that's interesting because they really want to do this, but I think they have conceded that there is something about rushing in too quickly. So I think this is showing a concession point. The inner canine just wants to sort of have the connection and go forward, but they do get it. They do get what the inner feline is saying. There's like a warning about what is the impact on lifestyle. Make sure that you think through all the implications of this. And the inner feline goes, participate. So I think that's saying that this is a relationship energy, whether it is around love or whether it's something else. This is not something that can be done completely as a solitary thing. And the inner feline will often want a solitary thing, but there is a concession. So they're both conceding. There's a lot of agreement actually between these two around this. It's like, yeah, it's new, it's not really sure, but the only way we know is if we connect. They're almost like kind of like nodding to each other and saying, I'm going to take on board what you're saying here. And so then in terms of well-being, hydrate, okay, like just calm down a little bit. In a canine that's excited and like sort of all heated up and ready to go, like just make sure that you've kind of got yourself lubricated to move forward, let's put it that way. And then in terms of the inner feline, empathetic. Okay, so the interesting thing about this actually is that there is a deep concession within this. Because I feel like the cat is going, I will kind of connect for the well-being of this. I will connect more in what you're sort of feeling about the other person, and I will participate more. So I'm not going to kind of hold back too much. That's also why we had the Three of Pentacles. There's certainly at the very least an opening to a friendship here, but there is a sort of thing like don't get overexcited. Like it's sort of like we got to give it time, and the inner canine's going, yeah, I accept that. I accept that there's a balance. So you don't really have arguing in a canine and in a feline at all, which is probably helpful. So let's see some astrology energy that each feel about it. So a pairing of planets that fits with what your inner canine's saying, which is enthusiastic but a little bit tempered by the argument of the inner feline. We have Moon and Chiron. Yeah, the inner canine goes, ultimately, this is whatever this was painful to start with, and something new is coming out, and it's kind of like wanting to be open emotionally to the healing that this can bring. Also, I think it's one of the reasons why the inner canine side of you is happy to temper the enthusiasm a bit to make sure the healing is done. Then in terms of your inner feline energy, Saturn and Pluto, yeah, that does feel more feline. It's like yeah, we'll change, but it's got to be structured. It's got to have boundaries. It's got to make sense. This is big. This is big. I think that the inner feline really sees how big this could be. Whatever this is, whatever this blessing in disguise is, has enormous potential. That's why it's open to listening to the inner canine and making the connection. But because it's big, it also wants to see the boundaries. It wants to control the rate of change, all of that kind of thing. Whereas the inner canine just wants to be healed and feel happy again. So I think the inner feline here is important to listen to, because this is something important, pile one. Whatever this is, truly is a blessing in disguise, but it's pretty full on. Okay, so let's see what other spirit animal might want to kind of almost mediate or provide some other perspective for the inner canine and inner feline. Koala. Oh, how cute. An Australian one. I think probably koala here is tilting towards the inner feline, because koala is about stillness, tranquility, finding the sort of like middle point that allows for sort of wise thinking, careful consideration, that kind of thing. So I think that the koala energy is, as I say, sort of supporting the cat in like, this is important, give it time, get in a tranquil space, feel healed, then make the decision. There's a lot to go here, but if you rush too much into it, you may not manage to get the best out of it, or you may misunderstand it or something like that. Okay, so we're also going to get a wild card from each of their perspectives as well. So we know now we know that there is something that did not work, something that did actually, both sides of you agreeing, it knocked you around a bit, whether it was a relationship, a career thing, whatever it might be. But underneath it, there's something, a new opportunity, a new connection, something like that. If it hasn't already arisen, it's going to. Your inner canine is going to get very excited and want to move forward with it really quickly. And they do have a sense of how healing and important this could be. The inner feline agrees, but says it is important. That's why we have to slow down a bit. So let's see the wildcard energy from the inner canine's perspective. Divine masculine, control, leadership, determination. Okay, there's definitely, with twin flame, for some of you, this is about a very significant relationship. So it's almost as though the passion and the energy around this and the direction of this is going to come from the inner canine energy. Like once the boundaries are sorted out and everything, there is the action, the call to action is going to come from that side of you that really wants to connect and really wants to take up that Ace of Wands energy. What about for the inner feline? Final point, game over, conclusion, need to close, transmutation after the end. Something, actually, I think one of the other reasons that your inner feline is slowing things down a bit is they feel something else has to finish and be closed out before this can occur. So it could be that, there was a former relationship that has to be sorted out. It could be because there was a career and you're moving and that has to happen. So they're saying like, this is part of the boundaries and so forth. It's like, to really give this the best chance to be, you've got to close out the other stuff. You've got to understand what you're moving into. You've got to make that decision. Something else has to end to allow this to be, in whatever way that is, whether it's a relationship or career or something artistic or something spiritual. Okay. So to finish off, we're just going to get one last piece of advice from each, plus a joint piece of advice from the Enchanted Forest. So the advice that the inner canine side of you would say about this is, oops, this one jumped out. Let it be. If you need to solve a problem, ask yourself, what is the simplest way to proceed? When you call forth the simplest path, it appears, and vice versa. Now that's interesting with the Ace of Wands. I think that I do think that your inner canine has taken some counsel from the inner feline, but when that is sorted, when that is finalised, sorted out, then it's simple. Ace of Wands, just moving forward, taking action, letting something be, not standing in its way. What does the inner feline want to close out as a piece of advice for you? Soul awakening. You are quite irresistible when your mind and heart pulse in the same rhythm. why spend your days fighting yourself? You have better things to do. I do think there's something very significant about whatever this blessing in disguise is, and the inner feline gets it, and that's why they're prepared to play nice with the inner canine. But they're going, do take this seriously. Yes, you can be simple, just take an action and move forward, but this is really, really, really significant, whatever this blessing in disguise is. So the final combined piece of advice from them together to you, pile one. The pause is the shift. Your past is now behind you. All you desire is right in front of you. Pause to reconnect with your power. This is koala here. And follow the pull of your destiny. This is why they agree. It's just timing. So this is pretty special. I think something really special is coming in for you. They both see it. They kind of want to deal with it differently, but I would tilt towards the inner feline here, I think, because it is important, and they're not ultimately standing in the way of the inner canine enthusiasm once that's sorted out. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 2, to your reading. So over here we have the inner canine view about the situation or issue at hand, and over here we have the inner feline. And I've got to say, they're starting with very opposing views. So remember, your inner canine is the sort of loyal, relationship-oriented, protective, sort of enthusiastic side. The inner feline is the independent, self-actualized, strategic side. And what this is all about is, what is your true nature? And possibly, how do you connect with others? Because you see the third eye is open with this commune with nature. So there's something here about spirituality and also about coming out and being seen and communicating as well too. So it's sort of, it may well be that some of you, I get the sense that some of you might have Gemini strongly in your chart. So that's a possibility, because it's almost like there's opposites, and it's like at various times it may be that one or other steps forward. But there is a different view here. Who are you really, I think, is what they want to argue about. And, maybe they'll come to some sort of like balance. In sort of one of the other readings that I've done so far, there was actually quite a lot of agreement. It was just a timing issue. So that could be part of this as well. But if I'm looking at what this is about, who you communicate, how you connect with others, and how you do that most true to yourself, your inner canine is saying, I'm kind of shy, I'm spiritual, I'm not all about me. It's not all about me. It's about the group. I don't want to get involved in power. I don't really like power. I'm not interested in that. I'm kind of like, I'd like just to be within myself. I'm kind of like, it's almost like if you were doing a Myers-Briggs, this would definitely be the kind of introvert end of the introvert-extrovert thing. I get my energy from myself. I need time out. I don't want to be center of attention. It seems to be what's going on here. But over here, your inner feline's going, you know what, you're stronger than you think, and it's about time you stop hiding in your room. And I'm not saying you're actually hiding in your room, literally, but that's kind of the energy here. It's sort of like, it's time to come out. Look at how grumpy this cat looks. Like, well, maybe not so grumpy when it's upright, but it sort of looks grumpy when it's reversed. I feel like you're in a canine and says, you're ready to roar. You're ready to come out and take your power. Don't limit it. And there may even be that your inner canine thinks it's not appropriate to want personal power. You've got to be spiritual about everybody else. And the inner feline's going, no, you're allowed to come out and own your own power. So it sort of depends whether we're talking about power and expression, or whether we're just talking about introvert versus sort of more extrovert energy. Some of you may be very close to that if you did your Myers-Briggs. That's true of me. I found, like, when I did Myers-Briggs, that I was exceptionally close between the introvert and extrovert. And I found that in my working life, the extrovert came out, and in my private life, the introvert did. So you might be a bit like that. But whatever this is, it's like the inner feline thinks you're much stronger than maybe not much stronger, though there is strength there, but it's, you're actually got something to say. You've got a point of view. You should be coming out. Part of who you are is meant to be communicating. You can't just hide it away. Whereas your inner canine's going, I don't want to be center of attention. So let's have a look. So what we're going to do is we're going to see each of their perspectives on whatever this is, whatever your true nature is. I think this is what they're talking about, particularly at the moment in your life. And then we're going to see what they respond to each other, as though we were in, a law court and they were learned counsel and they were sort of responding to each other's arguments. So firstly, with the inner canine, the more sort of circumspect, the more sort of spiritual, and this doesn't mean this is unspiritual, by the way, but it's like it's very spiritually focused. It's not about the powers of the world. It's not about being center of attention. Like the inner canine energy here, it's kind of like what is worthy is to be above and beyond all of that. It seems to be what they're saying. So let's just see what else they're saying. Page of Wands reversed. Ace of Swords reversed. Two of Swords reversed. Okay. The Moon. The Ace of Wands. Oh, wow. You got a double ace here. Kind of thinking the inner feline's going to have a pretty strong argument, to be honest, because what this is showing, that there is a real reticence to be center of attention. Nothing wrong with that. You can be shy, you can not want to be the center of attention, but you do have a new idea. You're just not really sure what to do with it yet. A new idea or a new approach. And so it's almost as though you keep it hidden because you're not sure what to do with it. But there is an energy that you want to break free. It's like either you're not in a situation, like maybe the people that you're around, you're not sure if they'd accept what you were going to do, or if it's something that's very different to the way that things are done and thought about. But there's sort of something, and you're kind of keeping it to yourself. But there is this like, and I feel like, what's interesting is we've got the Page of Wands reversed, the King of Wands reversed. It's almost as though underneath you kind of know you've got to the end of that line. It's time to think about doing something different. It's time to come out and be seen a bit more. It's just that there's a reluctance to do it. It's either the environment you're in or what you've experienced before when you've done it. Something like that is going on. But there's a lot of potential here, pile 2, and like just hiding a light under a bushel is not a good thing. So I'm kind of on the side at the moment. I'm kind of team feline at the moment. But like, let's see what the feline side of you wants to say. Six of Swords reversed. Queen of Swords. Justice. Queen of Cups reversed. Wheel of Fortune reversed. Okay. So your inner feline's saying, I know something didn't work out, or I know that you felt timing was wrong before, or that you weren't sort of understood. But it's time to write that, and it's trying to bring it into balance. You've actually got a really good idea here. You've got to take this forward. Whatever this is, it's really good. It's really strong. It's meant to be communicated. And you don't have to know the final destination. You just need to be prepared with 2 aces to set off on the journey. You've got more than enough intelligence. Like the inner feline's going like, I'm as smart as, don't worry about that. It'll be all fine. I'll work it out as I go along. There's an opportunity. It could literally be around a career or some sort of contract. Otherwise, it's like, here's where things get into balance. Don't let whatever things haven't worked before block you emotionally with what you want to do. If you felt like you were being suppressed before, that wheel's going to turn, but you've got to be prepared to take on something that's new. So you're stronger than you think. You're ready. Like the inner feline really wants you to know that. So what does, with 3 cards here, what does, having heard the argument of the inner feline, what does the inner canine want to say about that? Seven of Swords. 6 of Swords. 5 of Swords. Wow. I did shuffle these. So that's kind of interesting. So the inner canine's going like, what I will really agree with learned counsel is that I am strategic. That side of me, the inner feline energy is very strategic. I am able to do that. So I would be able to work it out. I get that. But I'm not sure, will I win? Will I sort of like have to walk away from something? I like, it's almost as though the inner canine goes, once I get into that realm where it's all just about strategy and plans, I kind of get to the point where I would seem to run out of steam. So like, what does I feel as though I'm better off sort of like just being a bit hidden. If I'm out there, am I going to win? I'm on the battlefield. What's going to happen? There's a kind of a reluctance and knowing that there is the intelligence and the capacity to do it, but not being really sure whether you want to see it all the way through. That's what the inner canine's going. Like, I'm not sure, what does this actually mean? And the inner feline goes, okay. We have the Four of Wands reversed. It's not about, maybe this is like, I don't want to be in battles with people. And I think like the inner feline's going, like, sometimes you have to be. When you're being true to who you are and you're finding who to connect with, sometimes you have to go like it's not about just getting on with everybody, which is kind of, the inner canine wants to get on with everybody. Four of Cups, she says you're emotionally blocked at the moment. It's not heading where it needs to head. King of Swords. But you have the brain power to do this. Like, this is very much about owning an idea and your capacity to be strategic. The inner feline part of you wants the inner canine to take of its strength. That's what it's really saying here. Saying, like, you have a really great idea. There's a really good thing and you do really want to do it. But you're worried. You're worried about upsetting the apple cart with others. But you've got to be true to yourself. And don't worry too much about this. You're going to see it through. You almost, I think the inner feline would be saying you're almost taking it and going backwards, because it's like you start with going, I can do it. And, okay, I could have a direction, and then going, but, like, what if the battle, it's like you presuming the battle is lost before you even start. And the inner feline's going, no, you're going to win this battle. It's going to come into balance. But you've got to be prepared to move past worrying about upsetting other people. So let's see how this plays out in various aspects of life. So we've got a relationship energy, a career energy, a lifestyle energy, and a well-being energy for the perspectives of both on this. So around relationships, the perspective of the inner canine, love from beyond. Okay, very spiritual. So I think that your inner canine is very connected to your ancestors, all of that kind of thing, past loved ones. There could be something connected to that. And, do you take forward the heritage from your ancestry, something like that? Do you feel that you can? Are you meant to do something very different? And like past loved ones want to say to you, you're free to do that. The inner feline is going validation. Like I think the inner feline is just trying to bring you validation, but it's also saying that you maybe get too much validation from other people, this energy here. It's like you need to have your own sense of strength, but you will get that potentially from your ancestry and so forth. In terms of career, the inner canine says promotion. Yeah, you're ready to move up the ladder. You're ready to step into something. If this is about work, you're ready to take on a leadership role. Don't block it. You actually are ready. And your inner feline goes, respect. Yeah, because people respect you and you'll get respect. So if this is about something around career, not everybody this is going to be about career, but if this is about career, you're ready to have the respect and move up the ladder in some form. In terms of lifestyle, the inner canine says guarded. Yes, you're quite guarded at the moment. Something's happened to make you guarded. The inner feline says feedback. Okay, it may be that you've had some unfair feedback, or it may be that, when you seek feedback now around your lifestyle and what you're doing, you may actually find that you're in a stronger position, but you've got to actually have the conversation to see it, to get feedback. You've got to reach out for people to reach back to you. And then in terms of well-being, your inner canine says, yeah, you're in good health. You're ready for this. Like, it's not a health issue. This is more a kind of self-esteem issue and a kind of like not wanting to be center of attention as opposed to anything else. Your well-being is fine, and that might be part of the problem too. It's like there's not a real push to just feel better to do this. This is more a potential that you have. So the inner canine says inflammation. Like, I think is saying that like you may be worried about that. You may have dealt with sort of inflammation reactions when you've sort of taken on things, but it's also, I think, like that's your own body wanting to heat up and move forward. So it's sort of like this is a way, use the energy for your best outcome rather than pushing against it or fighting against it. Okay, so let's get some astrology energy as well too, a pairing of planets for each side of this. So for the inner canine, perspective on you, becoming more true to who you are, and I think being more open with others about who you are and whatever this is. Mars and Uranus, You want to, like, you've got to open this up, pile two. You know, you don't suppress that King of Wands reversed. You know, you're meant to be the Ace of Wands sort of moving forward. This is a call to action, and it's a big change for you to do it, but it's time. What about the inner feline? Moon and Chiron, there's healing. There's healing that will come, emotional healing that will come. In fact, your inner feline's saying that at the moment what's going on is whether it's that you didn't win a promotion before, or you didn't feel accepted, or you feel like if you tried to be center of attention at one point, people didn't see it, didn't recognize it, whatever. If there's some hurt that you're protecting yourself from or that you're healing, your inner feline is saying that, in fact, the best way to heal that energy is to be more open about who you are and take on this energy that's coming through. So let's see also what other spirit animal might have a point of view between these two. Oh, perfect. The lion. He's tilting towards the feline side of the argument, I think. I think it's also bringing a message for the sort of more reluctant leader side of the canine argument here, which is saying the lion is all about leading and strength, but leading with integrity. So I think that for some of you, this is showing that you really do have a leadership ability. You have whether it's a thought leadership within an organization, leading friends or whatever, like you really do have that. But I think you've seen examples of it that weren't good. And so you've almost equated it as non-spiritual or non-worthy. But it's time for you to do it. And it's people like you who don't want to be the leader that are actually the best leaders. I often say this. It comes up quite a lot for this collective. But it fits again here, which is there's a saying that the person who is best suited to be the president of the United States is the person who doesn't want to be. I think there's a very similar energy here, and Lion is sort of saying, yeah, that strength is there, like don't suppress it because you're worried about how people will respond to it, or whether you think it's not worthy, or you think that you think that you're going to become something you despise or something like that. You won't. Your nature is too spiritually balanced for that. Okay. So let's also have a look at a couple of wild cards from each of their perspectives. So a wild card in all of this from the inner canine's perspective is I am independent, freedom, liberation, individuality, free spirit. Now, this is where they'll agree, because your inner feline's probably the more independent of the two. But this is your own inner canine thinking about that. It's also, I think, though, why they may argue, because I think that the inner canine energy would go, well, like I'm not going to be told off by the inner feline. I'm going to decide what I want to do. But ultimately, there is a push here. Like, for all that you want to sort of step back, if you're going to commune with your nature and commune very openly and properly with others, you've got to actually start to step out and be independent and take on some of the inner feline attributes. So what's the wild card for the inner feline part of you? Am I naive? Spiritual growth challenges need to grow up. Okay, so it's almost as though what's happening is there's a reflection going on. I think that the inner canine energy may need to be more independent and need to be more Mars, Uranus energy, like needs to do that to really step into and commune with nature. The inner feline might need to take on some of the sort of idealism of the inner canine. That it's the two put together that bring about the integrity. Because the inner feline's too clever by half. And it's fine because you are smart and you are strategic. But the thing that really makes you worthy is both of these things. The fact that you could ask, are you being naive? Means that you're coming from truth rather than from just using the mind to manipulate and so forth. So, very interesting. So let's get some final advice from each and then a combined energy. So we're going to go to the Enchanted Forest for any other sort of woodland creatures that can connect in with the inner canine and inner feline. So final piece of advice from your inner canine about this. Don't hide. Dare to dream big. Remind yourself that everything is possible. Don't hide your talents and abilities, but use them to build your world. I think even in the space of this, your inner canine's starting to see the point, starting to know it's time to sort of come out and show who you are. So I think the inner feline would be feeling pretty happy at the moment. Let's see what the inner feline has to say. Forge a new path. When you make new choices, you create new results. Let go of old patterns and embrace the power of possibility. You are fully supported. And you're wise. There's wisdom there. Wisdom rather than just strategic intelligence, because there's a difference. Wisdom is the thing that connects what might be seen as idealistic, even naive, with strategy, which brings about integrity. So let's see the final piece of advice from both of them together. The key. All you do with ease and enthusiasm is the path to your goal. Actions are secondary. Make the energy within your primary focus, the Mars and Uranus. Do not underestimate the little joys. So I think it's time. It's time for you to sort of embrace something, to be seen a bit more, to lead or communicate a bit more, and to really own who you are, pile 2. And I think ultimately your inner canine and inner feline agree, even though they started off kind of at opposite sides of the equation. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading. So this is the energy, including the Fool, that your inner canine has about the situational theme of what they want to talk to you about. And this is the inner feline. And this is a human spirit energy to give us a bit of an idea about what it is they're talking about in the first place. And this is a very interesting card. Eat your words. You can see sort of rude, doubt, all kinds of different words. Let's see what we've got. We've got judgment. Judgment, rude, doubt are the words that they're showing. But like, there seems to be something here about needing to change a viewpoint, whether it's, to get past self-doubt, or whether it's you're changing your mind about something in general. There's something where what you've expressed, you need to move past. So it's either negative self-talk to be more positive. It may be something you used to believe politically or socially that you're now going, actually, that's not going to work. I need to do something different. It could be around a relationship. It's going to depend, I think, very much on who comes to the reading. Because when I look at the two energies around whatever this is, a change of mind, I think. There's a change of mind going on, and how your inner canine or inner feline would navigate that is kind of different. They're not necessarily arguing with each other. I think it's all the way through this, the inner feline seems to almost have been a cautionary energy on the inner canine, and that's the case with this one as well. But the inner canine wants to start again. They say that something has got emotionally blocked. It's not working anymore. It could have been a relationship. It could have been a career pursuit. It could have been a spiritual pursuit. But there's sort of something where you probably thought, that's it. I've found who I am. I've found everything. I've mastered it all. I've got my sovereignty. But now it's just not working. I'm having to eat my words. I really need to start something new because I'm blocked. So your inner canine saying, I can stay loyal to things as long as they're true to me, but this is no longer true to me. So I have to sort of start again. The inner feline, interestingly, is saying that's okay. Like, you could do that. You could go and do something new as long as it's going towards what's really true to you emotionally, what you really want long-term emotionally. And as long as this has come from a true learning and that you are going to learn and build your skills as a result of it, that's fine. You're heading in the right direction and you've got to learn from it. That's fine. But what would not be fine would be running away rather than learning the lesson about what you need. So I think it very much depends on what's going on at the moment. If you've reached something that didn't work and you're kind of like going, I just have to start again. This is a bit embarrassing. I don't want to sort of have to really kind of deal with that. I'm just going to like throw it all out and I'm going to move forward. Then the inner feline would be going, yeah, I can get that you want to do that, but are you going to have learned what you want? Do you really know from this what you want? Or you've just found out what you don't want as opposed to what you do want? The other thing your inner feline might be saying is that, yes, it's fine. Part of the learning to go towards what you do want is to learn what you don't want and what doesn't work for you anymore. And you're developing the skills, and this is a great opportunity. If on the journey you look at learning new things and trying out new things, that's likely to make you happy. So I think it really depends on what the motivation is. If this resonates for you, there's something where you're feeling like what I really thought was going to be the case is not the case. I want to start again. I want to do something different. If it's like I'm going to take all those learnings, move forward, and so forth, or I'm going to really see this as a new skill development thing. Like I thought I was going to be really happy as a lawyer, but you know what? In my heart, I'm a poet and I'm going to spend time now learning about writing. Like that's fine. But if it's more, oh, this didn't work, it hasn't gone where I want or whatever, I'm going to just drop it all and run with it and forget about what I've learned, then your inner feline's going to be scratching at you saying, remember, because it's like it's not about running away from what you don't want, it's about running towards what you do. So let's get a little bit more information from them to just see if we can work out what's really going on, at least for the greater majority of people who come to this particular reading. These are heart code energies, which we'll look at a little bit later. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the inner canine to get an idea about why you want to go off on this new adventure, why something hasn't worked and you just want to start something new. And then we'll get the inner feline's response around that. And then we'll see if they were in a courtroom, as I said in the introduction, and they were like two learned counsel debating a point, what they would say to each other's point of view. So a little bit more about the point of view of your inner canine. Wants to go off on an adventure to break through emotional blocks and where things didn't turn out the way that you expected or the way that you've sort of said to others. We have Knight of Pentacles reversed, the Emperor, Queen of Cups reversed, Four of Swords, Three of Wands reversed. Okay. I think for a lot of you, this is about a career thing. That's the most likely thing I would say. Because with Knight of Pentacles reversed, this suggests that something that you thought you were going to be, particularly around work and ambition, really dedicated to, it's either not paying off or you can't be dedicated to it. It's not connecting to you emotionally. It really does feel like, I thought that if I went off and I was, this type of profession, I was going to do really well and I was going to be really happy in it. But you know what? Even if I am doing reasonably well, I just feel stuck emotionally. Got to kind of throw it all in and go and do something else. And the inner feline would be going, that's fine as long as you're taking some of the skills and you're working out what else to do. But if you're just going, I don't like this 9 to 5 business, then what are you going to do next? There is a side that the inner canine wants not only to kind of have a new journey, but actually wants to just withdraw from something that wasn't working at first. Really doesn't want to discuss it. You don't really entirely know where you want to go. That's why you're going back to the Fool. I just want to explore. But that's where the inner feline is saying, well, you need to have a destination. Even if you don't know all the way to get there, you need to have a destination, and don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. Don't lose the skills that you had. So I think your inner canine's going, you know what? I know now what I don't want. So I just want to have a bit of a rest and then think about what to do next. But I do want to do something very different next. And your inner feline's probably going to go going, that's fine, but kind of try and make sure you navigate towards something you actually do want. So let's see what the inner feline's sort of first order view of it is. Judgment reversed. Agrees that what you were doing was not your calling. Agrees whatever this is, relationship, career, whatever it is, was not your calling. Sun reversed. Yeah, absolutely agrees it's not. It was not your life path. You don't have to be caught on that. You are meant to go after what would make you happy. King of Pentacles. You are meant, however, to do something material. This is not just avoiding the material, avoiding the sort of sovereignty, avoiding the work thing. It's meant to take you towards something that gives you a sense of solidity and so forth. Queen of Pentacles, yeah, absolutely. And for any of you that's around a relationship, if it's not around a career thing, if it's around a relationship, then this is meant to take you towards more of your perfect match as well. King and Queen of the same suit, both upright, suggests that there's something in this, particularly from what you could learn, that could take you towards what you really do want. And it's just don't forget this. Don't just go, I'm just going to retreat, have a bit of a time out and then go and do something new. There's the inner feline really wants you to kind of understand the skills and the clarity that this is giving you about what you do want. And Nine of Pentacles, it is meant to make you feel independent and able to make decisions materially and so forth that are right for you. So for some too, I'm getting this very specific. It might have been that you did think you found your perfect match. And now you no longer think that. You need the independence. And it's again, it's kind of well, remember the independence is heading towards what you do want. It doesn't mean you can't have a match. So it just depends on what you are wanting to sort of, what you feel that you've got to eat your words on, what didn't work out, what you want to move away from. So having heard what the inner feline has said, which is, yeah, I agree with you. Like a new start is necessary, but like start and build very practically as you aim to continue and finish. Don't just sort of jump out into the world as the fool might do. What does the inner canine have to say to that? King of Pentacles agrees, ultimately does agree. There is, you do want, whatever this is, it's not that you don't want to have achieved something, mastery of something, financial, whatever it might be, or the long-term relationship. It's just, so that's agreed. That's not the problem. It's like how you shift from one to the other. Nine of Wands reversed. So the inner canine's saying, I agree with you, but the problem is right now it's hard to see how to get over the finish line, and it's hard to sort of like deal with other people. I really do need to withdraw for a while. I'm not withdrawing from a long-term plan. I just need some time out. Eight of Wands, yeah, because I don't have the energy to move forward yet. I want to do this, but I do need to retreat first. And that's not me avoiding the issue. It's understanding what I need. So then what does the inner feline have to say to that? The Hierophant reversed. That's okay. This is unconventional sort of learning, so you have to find the way to do it for yourself. Eight of Swords reversed. Whatever frees you from old patterns is good. Three of Wands, then you will find your way. So they're really not arguing that much with each other. The inner feline just wants the inner canine to, I think the inner feline felt that inner canine was just going to kind of dump it all and just go off and do something else without having a set plan to move forward. The inner canine's going, no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I was going to do. I do know I need to do something new, but I need some time out. I need to rest. I need to work out what I want. Then I'll be able to move forward. And the inner feline's going, okay, I agree with you. I agree with you. So I think they are aligning. So let's sort of see how they see it playing out. So around relationships, what energy is your inner canine relating to? Reach out. Yeah. So I think the inner canine knows they can't stay away forever. So it's a temporary withdrawal. That's what they're saying. I need to take time out. Then I'll be able to move forward, but I will connect with others. So the inner feline goes, that's great, because connections are important. It's going to help you come to the emotional happiness that you want. In terms of career, the inner canine's going, silence. Yeah, I need time out. It's been too noisy. Silence. Eat your own words. I don't want to talk anymore till I know what I really want to say. I've said things or I believe things and it's not working out. I just need time out. So the inner canine's going, change starts by looking into the mirror of your soul. So the inner feline's going, yeah, that's fine. If you use this to really work out what you want, that's fine. It's not fine if you don't use the time and the silence to work out what you do actually want. In terms of lifestyle, the inner canine's going, reluctance. Yeah, reluctance to do anything much at the moment. I don't want to change anything till I know. I don't think that's too much of a problem. For the inner feline, foundation. Yeah, I think I feel like it's she would agree. Like around your lifestyle, you've got to work out what is the foundation, what is it that you want in your lifestyle. So once you've worked that out, so you don't have to move forward till you know that. They kind of agree. In terms of well-being, the inner canine saying meditation. Yeah, I just need time out. I just need to think about it. And the inner feline says hearing. Yeah, I'm hearing you. But and it's also saying that's fine, you can withdraw, but then you do have to hear others. If you're eating your words and you're not communicating, you need to hear what other people are saying. You need to be able to kind of align that because you want to use your skills to head towards the Ten of Cups, which is in relationship to others. And the inner canine is more the relationship-oriented side. Like, as I say, the inner feline's a little bit more independent, but the inner feline here is going like, yeah, but you do want that, and that's important too. So yes, by all means, withdraw, have some boundaries around it, meditate, do all that kind of thing. But eventually you need to hear others and you need to connect to others. Okay, so let's have a look at some astrology energy from each side. So a planetary pairing from each side. So for the inner canine, Saturn, Chiron. Yep. This is about foundations. There is some healing. There is actually some healing to be done with this. before the longer term thing can be done. So whatever this is, that I think it is something you really believed in or something that you really thought would validate you or whatever it is, and you're kind of now going, no, in fact, I have to heal all of that expectation before I can sort of really decide what else to do. I do want to move forward. I had the Fool at the beginning. But like there's a lot that I have to process and heal. So the inner feline energy, Uranus and Neptune. And inner feline's going, yeah, I get it. There's big changes. And you do need to go within to do it. Because you've got to break through. There is a breakthrough that has to happen first, and that's a healing internally. So it's kind of like the inner feline's backing off and going like, I get it. It sounds to me like we actually don't disagree. It's just you need to do this first. So that's fine. This is big ticket stuff. This was like a sovereign energy. That's what it looks like, a sovereign, right? It's like this was something you really believed in, but now it's kind of like, no, I need to sort of almost start again. It's not working. And the inner feline sees that, just doesn't want you to lose in the mix the connection to others as a part of doing it. Let's see what other spirit animal wants to sort of jump in and have a point of view with the inner feline and inner canine. Oh, how gorgeous. A lamb. I think the lamb's here to help the inner canine because it's all about innocence and joy and connecting back to what really matters, which ultimately becomes the skill with the Eight of Pentacles that leads to the Ten of Cups, the emotional fulfillment. But I think there is a thing of like maybe you're being a bit harsh with yourself, I think, pile 3. You eat your own words and all that kind of thing. It's kind of like you're really having a hard time, like you're really not feeling happy with the choice or choices that you made that brought you there. And you just want to withdraw and kind of heal. And that's important. But get back to the innocence of the Fool. What are you really wanting to do? Taking into account what the inner feline is saying, which is that this is all a skill towards becoming happier. If you see it in that way, you haven't made a mistake. You've just learnt. You've learnt something. And getting back to the innocence of what you want is the way to bring that into balance. Okay, let's get you a couple of wild cards, one from each perspective as well. So from the perspective of the inner canine, the cherry on top, finishing touches, satisfaction, conclusion of a project. I think this is really knowing what would it have been. I think it's almost like you got very close to something, but the cherry on top wasn't there. So it's like, what would it be? That might be a good point to think about. What would be the cherry on top once the Fool had done its journey when it got to the world? What is it that would really make you happy? That's a thing to think about. And from the perspective of the inner feline, joy, yeah, being happy. That's what the inner feline wants for the inner canine here, or for you. Like your inner feline wants you to find joy, wants you to find that 10 of Cups. Like I do think you're being too hard on yourself about something. And the inner feline would normally be the one that was kind of being a little bit more strict, but there's a sort of a sense of, no, don't withdraw too much. Don't give up too much. You're meant to get the cherry on top. You're meant to get the joy. That's what, like go back to the innocence of the lamb, like you haven't done anything majorly wrong here. It's just a learning experience. So let's get a piece of advice from the Enchanted Forest from each, and then a combined advice just to close out. So a piece of advice from your inner canine now, pile 3. A new chapter. When things seem to be falling apart, be aware that things may be coming together in new ways that suit the next phase of your life even better. Yeah, this is something that's actually taking you more where you need to go. What does the inner feline want to say as a closing piece of advice? Behold beauty. When you insist that the world is hostile and others are your enemies, don't be surprised that is so. Self-fulfilling prophecies fortunately work both ways. Yeah, go towards what is joy and you will find joy. Don't expect the censure or the disapproval or the misunderstanding of others. This is about learning, going towards what you want and seeing it in that way. And so the combined last piece of advice for you is no debate. You don't need to do anything to be more worthy. You are valuable regardless of your circumstances. You always have been and you always will be. It's not up for debate. So they're not really debating with each other at all. I think the inner feline is just trying to be protective, which is interesting, of the inner canine of let's understand what can come from this that is good, and let's protect that. So it's a rather lovely message for you. Hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.